Yo, so Mondi Juma here from the Man United Agenda. I'm here with Abdullah. What a result, man. What a result. 3-0 away at Spurs. First thoughts?
I thought the first 30 minutes weren't the greatest. We took a bit of time to get into the game. But overall, the players looked like, going especially towards the end of the first half and into the second half, they were buying into the system a lot more and what Ollie was trying to implement today, which is something that I've not seen enough of from Manchester United, from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is that the players sort of understood, we were getting to the second balls a lot quicker, we're a lot more aggressive. Quite impressed. I know it's Spurs and I know they've on a bad run, but they're a Premier League team at the end of the day. We've struggled against worse teams in the league this season. I'd say, it's Southampton's, even at times in that Newcastle game where we beat them 4-1 in Ronaldo's debut. So you can't look too much into it. We've got to continue to see it. But I am seeing hints of today anyways, of players buying into a certain structure and a certain system that was implemented, and there's not been enough of that in the past.
Yeah, me too. I totally agree with you, man. I was watching the game and I'm thinking to myself, well, when we saw the team sheet, I was thinking to myself, this reminds me of Red Bull. We invite pressure onto us and we crack. But we didn't crack today, clean sheet, and hit them, not necessarily on the break. I mean, there's one goal of Bruno where he sort of pressed the ball and Cavani and Ronaldo scored good goals. But overall, I like the system. I think we should keep with the system because we're kind of compact. What do you reckon about the formation?
I think, it was quite compact. It was quite aggressive when it had to be aggressive. It was quite, it was. I felt like Manchester United, like I said, like I'll continue to say it, they felt like they bought into the plan, and it's the whole compactness. We've been linked to Conte, and that today played a bit like a Conte team, weirdly enough. The front two were combining, like Lazaro and Lukaku last season. One of the back three was coming aggressive, something I see Chelsea do a lot with Rudiger, going into the final third, winning it back. Victor Lindelof done that on a couple of occasions where he's almost on the opposition edge of the opposition's box, winning it back. And it felt like United were a lot more comfortable in terms of what the players knew they had to do. We've seen us play bad teams, like I've said, and the players don't look like they got the plan or understand what's happening. Let's hope Manchester United continue to work on what they've worked on, and he gets the right rotation between Marcus Rashford, Ronaldo, Eddie Cavani. He's got to get Jadon Sancho in there, talented player, Mason Greenwood. If he can get the rotation of those forwards, Manchester United can have a big season, and then you got your Ronaldos, Cavani's can move on, and then you got another batch of young players in Mason Greenwood, Marcus.
I agree with you, man, because that's one of the things. We've got a new formation, but it does isolate our so-called wingers like Greenwood and Sancho, like you just said. But where does Pogba fit in? I mean, he's suspended for Premiership games. He could be playing against Atalanta. Where does Pogba fit into the system if we continue with that?
Paul Pogba's not going to be here next summer, in my opinion.
You know something?
No, I don't know anything.
You sound like you do.
Nah, I don't know anything. Boy, he's not going to. In my opinion, he's not going to be here next summer. I think we've read a few bits as well popping up. The only thing I know is that his team's not tried to come to the table. Manchester United have offered something, but I can't just say I've heard what's all, because I'm not certain of what's going on. But I don't think he's here next summer.
But do you think it's a huge loss? Because when I see him play for France, he's a World Cup winner. He's one of the most highly rated midfielders in the world. Is it because, what's the issue here? Is it because he can't fit into our tactics? Do we need a better manager to make it the best out of him? I mean, I like Paul Pogba. I mean, don't you think we should fight to keep him?
I love Paul Pogba. He's one of my favourite players. I'm always fighting for him online and stuff, but I've given up over the last few months because you've got to have a level of commitment. But at the same time, I feel Ollie's a bit limited tactically, and that is down to the club, down to Ollie as well. And when I'm watching him for France, like the last international break for Spain, he's receiving the ball a lot deeper for France. And of course, sometimes he's making the wrong decision. But there's a lot better build-up play around him. There's a lot more, much better structure. When you go to that Leicester away game where we lose 4-2, him and Matic right up the pitch, just getting played through. There's no plan, there's no structure. You can't do that, especially with a player like Paul Pogba, whose defensive understanding isn't the best. I feel like there isn't a proper plan to fit him into this current team. Bruno was almost brought in to replace him because it looked like we could lose him. I think right now you just got to use him as an impact player or wherever you can use him, because that midfield three looks solid today. And as much as I love Pogba, if he's not here next year, you've got to start looking at avenues of how to build. Maybe Donny van der Beek's got to come in.
Okay, good shout. Listen, here's my thing, what's the name? Harry Maguire had a bad week. He had a bad game against Leicester. Had a bad game last week against Liverpool. He's been getting a lot of slack during the week. How did he perform today?
I thought he was good. I thought the centre halves were all good. Varane dealt with everything really well. There was a couple of occasions crosses were coming in. I'd have to look at that again. Luke Shaw was letting some of those crosses come in. But yeah, the centre backs in general were good. I thought Victor Lindelof, like I mentioned earlier, was aggressive when he had to be aggressive and be on the front foot. Rafael Varane seemed to have things under control. I absolutely love watching Rafael Varane at the top of his game, and it's nice to have him at Manchester United. But Harry Maguire, when he's in form, and we've seen it in the Euros, we've seen it at big patches at Manchester United. To be fair, when he's in form, he's a good football player. He's a good player at the top level. He's one of the best centre halves in the league, in my opinion, when he's at that level. But rushing him back from injury, putting him against Leicester and Liverpool, especially like that Leicester game, could have just played Eric Bailly. He was eager, just come back from the international break. Play him in there, let Maguire rest, because the thing is, he's the type of player when he has a bad game, it's a bad game, innit, Maguire? But overall, what you get from him, and you know, the ball playing, there was a couple of times just trying to play it into the final third, is good. So as long, hopefully he maintains his form, hopefully we keep his fitness up and we look after some of our players a bit better, because we have got a big squad, so we don't need to be, you know, getting players injured. We've seen what that happened with Marcus Rashford. It's the first time he's fit for the first time in like 2 years he's been properly fit, so we've got to take care of our players a bit better, and he's got to step his game up a bit more as well, be consistent.
I had a dilemma going into this game. I was looking at Wan-Bissaka, thinking he can't play as wing-back. He ain't got the ability to go forward. But today, I must admit, he was comfortable high up the pitch. How do you view that?
I thought he was good, you know. Like, it was... Weirdly enough, he had built a bit of a relationship throughout the game with Bruno Fernandes, didn't he? Like, he was coming across, getting back inside. And Wan-Bissaka's a weird one, because I think he's good in build-up. But it's when sometimes he beats his man, he just doesn't know what to do, sort of thing. But I feel like... it's weird because he's in a back three and he's got to go the extra yard further up the pitch, but he still did this thing, and we just need to consistently see more of that, because it's not like he can't do it. I thought West Ham this season, away from home, he was one of our better players in the final third actually, but then he only does that for a game or two in the season. He's got to like build his game a bit more and have building that relationship with the likes of Bruno Fernandes and McTominay and so on and so forth in midfield. But Bruno helped him a lot. I thought Bruno understood the plan so well. He knew when to come across the pitch from the left to the right, knew when to be aggressive off the ball.
Knew when to press.
Yeah, something that it looked like we were lost with the likes of Bruno last week. So it's good, and that helped Wan-Bissaka a lot today, to be honest.
Abdullah, it sounds to me like you're a man in a match with Bruno.
You know what? I give it Ronaldo, man. I love Ronaldo. Okay. I get Ronnie goal and assist, man. And do you know what? As well? Oh, that goal that was offside. If that counted, well, he still looks top of his game, man. Ronnie, you gotta love Ronaldo, man.
So overall, Abdullah, you've been in the stadium. Are the fans back on side now with Ollie?
I think the fans are always. It turns in the match-going fans, and there's certain corner at Old Trafford in the Red Army section, the TRA, as you'll know. They're always backing the manager, and that's how it should be. Like I said, I thought, like I was just speaking to someone earlier, and I was just saying, like, he should have probably gone after Liverpool because of the bad run we were at. He'd had enough time to switch it up over the international break in terms of the system. If I'm being from an honest footballing perspective, but as a fan, always going to be in the ground, always backing Ollie, always back whichever manager's in there, and always trying to have a fun day out with people. As much as United try to ruin that for us sometimes, you just got to enjoy it. Otherwise, there's no point going to the football, innit? Like last week, I walked off for the first time in my life early from Old Trafford because it was getting to man. There's no point. I'm trying to go out and enjoy the game, and you've always got to back the managers, and we don't want it to be, in terms of the fans in the ground, we don't want it to be toxic. I know people have their say online, and I've had my say on YouTube and on various channels and online, but in terms of when you get in the ground, you got to back the players and the manager.
Well, you can come and have your say on the Man United agenda. We're there, man. Big up, Abdullah. It's lovely to meet you. Tactical genius. If I'm starting a football team, I want him as my tactical coach. Big up.
Thank you.